You're watching Battlecast Primetime. The father of RTS, Lewis Castle, is here and ready to reminisce. What can the Red Alert 3 team learn from their predecessor? Plus, you've had KANE'S Wrath for a month now, but was your match good enough to make the Battlecast 5? And finally, will Raj go down in flames and become nothing but a buzzer? Find out in the main event. I promise you haven't seen ownage like this before.
We haven't even played yet.
Battlecast Primetime starts now. You're logged in to Battlecast Primetime alongside Joshi. I'm David Silverman. In case you missed the last episode of Battlecast Primetime, we're letting you pick the matches in the main event by posting challenges in the Command & Conquer TV forums. Our first post came from my co-host turned adversary, Raj Joshi.
You know what? Actually, you guys, if you would just fight to the death for my amusement.
2 MCVs enter! 1 MCV leaves! Are you man enough to take my challenge?
David has finally accepted my challenge, and tonight we'll be throwing down on Black's big battle. Yes, soon I'll be taking down Silverman once and for all, and joining the ranks of the Karate Kid, Chuck Norris, and Rocky Balboa.
Rocky Balboa? I don't think so. Eye the Tiger is my creed. And besides, Raj, you're missing one key ingredient to becoming an action hero, a training montage. Oh yes, that's right. While you were busy producing CNC, I was on a strict nod regiment, training to be the best that I can be. Let's check it out.
Go. Come on.
Go! Go! Get angry!
Look at this. Over there.
Hotkeys, David. Use the hotkeys.
It's funny, you seem to have left out the clip of you reading the Prima strategy guide right before the show.
The fight of the century kicks off in our new main event, now featuring fan-submitted grudge matches at the end of the show. While you're still among the living, Raj, why don't you give us the latest from the front?
KANE'S Wrath is coming to the Xbox 360 this summer. Like the PC title, it'll feature a 13-mission campaign spanning 2 decades of CNC lore, complete with new sub-factions and epic units. But KANE'S Wrath on the 360 has some exciting new features as well. The team that pioneered RTS on the console is taking it to the next stage and adding even more fluid and responsive controls with the new command stick. The command stick allows you to execute all of your commands with a simple flick of the thumb. Stay tuned next month for an interview with the Xbox 360 lead producer, Wes Eckhart. Maybe we can get a little more info on the exclusive KANE'S Challenge mode that will be in the Xbox 360 version.
Next week, I'll be joining the producers of Red Alert 3 for our kickoff event in, you guessed it, Mother Russia. The team will be unveiling Red Alert 3 to the world for the first time in a 2-day extravaganza. And of course, what better place to reveal a Red Alert series game than in Moscow? The press will be given a sneak peek into the new look of Red Alert, and they'll be treated to exclusive information about the game's story and naval gameplay. We'll even throw in an unmasked multiplayer just for their pleasure. And to top it all off, the event will be held in an actual World War II bunker. Stay tuned to the next episode of Battlecast Primetime for highlights from this monumentous event.
CNC League Season 2 kicks off this month, and we've got some great prizes in store for you. Like last time, to qualify, just be in the top 8 on your ladder at midnight Pacific Standard Time the last day of each month. APOC will set up an epic 32-man single elimination tournament with all the qualifiers the first week of summer. Oh, and if you prefer retro gaming, check out the Red Alert 2 tournament going on now at our official site, www.commandandconquer.com.
Speaking of retro, we're joined now by the man who coined the term RTS. RTS legend, the father of the sacred green crystal, Lewis Castle.
Hi.
Lewis, it's an absolute honor to have you on Command & Conquer TV, but are you ready to face the firing squad?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Now, Lou, Command & Conquer's been around for about 13 years. Did you know that 13 years ago when you came up with the idea for Command & Conquer that it would end up spawning multiple games, different genres, a Command & Conquer TV network? What were you thinking?
Oh, of course not. No, no, we didn't know that. We were just trying to make a great game. You know, we had done this great game called Dune 2 at Westwood. And,
awesome game, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we were looking for something a little bit more relevant.
There's different universes in Command & Conquer. Which one, out of curiosity, is your favorite?
I guess, you know, I'm always partial to Red Alert. I liked the gameplay a lot in Tiberium Sun because there were so many cool things, and especially Command & Conquer Tiberium Wars. But the Red Alert universe has always been one of my favorites because of the sort of campy, lighthearted nature of it, and the kind of weird science gone wrong has always been a lot of fun.
How did you guys come up with the idea to kind of like shift things and include like time travel and, you know, all these kinds of crazy, wacky things? What was going on?
Well, in the original Command & Conquer, the whole theory of Tiberium was this disruptive material that would allow for the kind of weird science, the stuff that we thought might be in the back rooms of military agents all over the world to be available. And as we were looking at those things, we looked back to history and we found things like the Philadelphia experiment and Nikola Tesla and these really great ideas and said, hey, you know, there's this crazy weird science going on during World War II where people were trying to find that upper edge. They were trying to find that thing that was going to give them the advantage. And wouldn't it be cool if a world existed where all that stuff actually worked instead of being sort of failed experiments?
You know, how did you guys kind of come up with that kind of concept, going for that sort of parallel dimension angle and really incorporating it into what happens with like kind of today's military?
Well, I know that early on with Brett and Adam were talking about the story for Red Alert. They were talking about, hey, how are we going to get all the gameplay that we want to have in a world, in a universe that won't be offensive to like most of our audience? We didn't want to make the bad guys the same old bad guys. You know, people had picked on the Nazis and others so many times. It's like something else for a change. And this idea of if we could go back in time, it would be really easy to make Joe Stalin the horror and the terror of the world that he very well could have been. I think that really led to the idea of, well, what if this universe, we had a different World War II? It was a totally different space. And that, of course, coupled with the weird science, led to the idea of a time machine. Who better to create a time machine than Albert Einstein?
Lewis Castle, you have survived the firing squad. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's an honor to have you here.
It was my pleasure.
I wish we could talk more. I wish even more you'd give me the details on the talent, but we have the greatest fan matches to get to in the Battlecast 5.
Excellent.
5.
It's Chernobyl Blackhand and Zohar Traveler against Vasily Reaper and Hellraiser Zocom on Empire City. Vasily makes an uncontested claim on the center field while Zohar rushes Hellraiser. Ravagers and the Infestation send Hellraiser's economy to a screeching halt. He drops out, leaving Vasily to fly solo. Chernobyl tries to flank the center field, but an untimely buzzer swarm wipes out his infantry rush as we go to round 2. Chernobyl sends in upgraded rocket militants, which now have black disciples with purifying flames peppered into each one of them. The flames take on the buzzers and the rockets down the storm columns and tripods. But Vasily has assimilators waiting to recover those husks the second they fall. +5 intelligence for Vasily. Chernobyl's in the doghouse again. Vasily's got so much money he thinks he can just spam tripods. Seems like a sound strategy, but Zohar's got cultists. The cultists mind control the tripods and save Chernobyl's base. Zohar uses repair drones to heal them up and his own assimilators to grab the husks. Vasily's tripods are sent right back at him, where they stare into the eyes of an epic unit and twice the amount of tripods. Vasily calls in the Overlord's wrath! No one can survive this onslaught. Or cue the cultists. Remarkable! With barely a single structure lost, our unsung heroes reclaim the husks and mount an offensive. That center field is now dried up, and check out the range on those cultists. Chernobyl and Zohar get to come from behind win despite only having a fifth of Vasily's income. I guess money can't buy happiness or a win. It's a shame he didn't even get to see Montana.
4.
It's Johnny G. Traveler versus AVP Eddie Reaper on tournament decision. Johnny sends out an explorer and scouts with buzzers while AVP techs up with a nerve center and tries to grab those tech structures. Johnny's buzzers make short work of the unguarded assimilator, allowing him to claim some spikes and get an early econ advantage. With less cash, AVP abandons his tech tree in favor of cheap seekers. Johnny, on the other hand, is swimming in credits and his greed gets the best of him as he techs and expands without building up an army. The seekers almost overpower him, but his lightning spikes and storm columns save the day. Meanwhile, AVP's moved his drone platform north and puts his economy back on track. The Reaper tripods and shielded seekers are relentless in spite of Johnny's temporal wormhole and McCarthy. How in the world did he hold the line against that? AVP fires off Overlord's wrath, but he doesn't have a force ready to clean up the mess, so Johnny repairs and builds some tripods of his own. Mechapedes and Devastators join the fight as Johnny throws everything and the kitchen sink at AVP. What a comeback! Base defenses and a strong economy gave Johnny G the unlikely win.
3.
To the hard way, Blackhand takes on Avi Luna Steel Talons on Small Town, USA. 2 grabs his spikes and claims the center tower, but Luna takes a different approach. Luna rushes to an airfield and queues up a single hammerhead, while Rainer scanning and calling in the Bloodhound. That hammerhead gets garrisoned with grenadiers before the op center and airfield are sold off. Bold strategy, but the hammerhead and reinforcements arrive at different times, and 2 Scorpions save the day. Ba-ba-ba! Luna sends in another wave as a distraction for its MCV headed west. Luna's got 2 bases, and 2, ironically, is left with just 1. Conflict up north as Luna tries desperately to hold the line, but 2 breaks through! Why isn't Luna concerned that he's losing ground? Oh yeah, he's got a dozen rocket hammerheads charging into 2's undefended base. Well played, Luna.
Back to tournament decision, it's Lock-On Zocom against Mad Ripper Traveler. Lock-On expands and goes for the tip spikes while Mad Ripper cranks out buzzers. Unfortunately, those buzzers meet their untimely end as Lock-On's protected his engineers with riflemen. Lock-On's taken his sweet old time getting his economy and land army under control, while Mad has already teched up the Storm Riders. I'm predicting bad things to come for Lock-On, but lucky for Lock, his rocket harvesters are technically a direct counter. Oh, but he throws in a pitbull too. How cliche. Mad continues to harass at the south field. Did that harvester just vet up? The infestation, some well-microed shock troopers, and a lightning spike still can't throw Lock off kilter. Mad's been outsmarted at every turn. It seems like Lock has stolen Mad's playbook, easily demonstrating the perfect counter every step of the way. Finally, 2 MCVs and an Overlord's Wrath take down Lock's defenses, while a temporal wormhole covers the assault. Mad's reveling in his victory as he goes for the jugular, but Lock-On's got hammerheads, garrisoned with rockets, holding down the fort. Mad's PACs create ion storms, but they fall to the hammerheads in no time. Fast forward and those hammerheads take out Devastators, shock troopers, harvesters, and MCVs. Lock knows when to hold them, when to fold them, and apparently when to flank. This sneaky team of hammerheads, rockets, and zone raiders give Lock the win, and a 4-to-1 kill ratio. Expertly played on both sides.
1.
It's NJKK, Mark of Cain versus MechWrath Blackhand on Tournament Tower. Both players claim their tip spikes and rush the tower, but Wrath gets there first. KK, taking the Benjamins into account, queues up some harvesters. Looks like Wrath is also thinking about KK's economy as a battalion of rocket bikes takes out those very same harvesters. Dope! Wrath sends in his flame-wielding Confessor Cabal, but come on, they're not invincible. I don't know what's killing them faster, the shredded turrets or the Tiberium exposure. Wrath's flame tanks pull up right as KK's Spectres hunt stealth. What an explosion! It comes down to the wire, but Wrath's pushed out. Another surge, but this time, Wrath's met with an Avatar, Obelisk, and the apparently deadly Nod Harvester. Not too bad for a vehicle with no weapons at all. KK sneaks in some Spectres, but Wrath one-ups him with the twin sisters, Reckoner Rush, a Greg Kasavin classic from Command School. Those Spectres have nothing on the 2 heroic commandos in a base with absolutely no anti-infantry. Tens of thousands of credits worth of avatars watch helplessly as this deadly duo claims victory for MechWrath. And there's your 5 for this month.
The 5, brought to you by Command & Conquer 3, KANE'S Wrath. Fight through over 3 decades of CNC lore and unleash KANE'S Wrath. In stores now on the PC and this summer on the Xbox 360.
You know, I think I might pull a few of those plays out when I take you down in the main event, Silverman. Actually, scratch that. 5 attack bikes would probably take your base down.
I don't think so. When we return, just what goes into making a CNC unit? We'll break down the entire process from concept to creation. Plus, Amir answers your Red Alert 3 questions in Ask a Developer, before we kick off our new segment, Meet a Developer. We'll profile one of gaming's unsung heroes, and don't miss Raj's embarrassing defeat in the main event. All this and more when Battlecast Primetime continues on Command & Conquer TV.
It is time you saw the face of the future.
Peace through power.
Welcome back to Battlecast Primetime. I'm David Silverman, and I sleep with a teddy bear.
Coming up, we'll shed some light on what goes into creating a unit for Command & Conquer. You've gotten only a glimpse of what the developers must do to create each and every unit that goes into a CNC game. Now it's time to walk you through the complete process of creating a unit, starting from its inception in what we're calling birth of a unit.
Thanks, David. Hi guys, my name is Amir. I am the producer on Red Alert 3. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite units in the game. It's called the Bullfrog. It is a Soviet transport unit. It's got a flak gun because it's reminiscent of the flak track from RE2. It all starts with the design. So our first conversation today is going to be with someone that you guys know very well, our lead designer, one of our lead designers, Greg Black. Let's go see what Greg's up to.
So we started the entire sort of units and structure creation process on Red Alert 3 by defining sort of unit roles and a combat chain. So I basically looked at what do people need units to do in their Command & Conquer game. And you can see these are basically all the unit roles that are defined, and the pink slips are basically like secondary abilities, modifications we made. So we just sort of all got in. We knew we wanted this transport, we knew it had to be anti-air, and we just sat down and started throwing ideas around until we found stuff that really excited us, like the man cannon.
And we've actually got the concept art right on this massive wall, so why don't we go and take a look at that. Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, no problem.
So here's the actual Bullfrog as originally envisioned. Now the very interesting thing about this unit is that originally we brought back the flak track from Red Alert 2 as a unit in RE3, and then we also added this unit, the Bullfrog. But halfway through our design, we realized that we really didn't have the need for both units because their roles were largely redundant. So what we did was we merged them. And now, even though it's not reflected in the concept art for the Bullfrog in-game is now an amphibious unit. So now let's go talk to one of the artists who actually modeled and textured this unit and put it in-game. Hey, Sean O'Hara! How's it going?
What's going on? Basically what the model will start with is they'll take the concept art and make silhouettes, put them on planes, and then they will take a box basically and extrude out the box, the different sides of the box, to recreate the silhouette. Once we get done with the transition animations, we'll take those, put them in the game, and then engineering will hook them up so they work in the game.
Oh, hello. How are you, sir?
Good, and you?
Good to see you.
So we get our initial art hookups, and then an accompanying design doc. And in that design doc, there's the basic settings for the unit. I can give you a quick example of one. Here is the Bullfrog information, and we're just setting up the basic armor set. Once we have all this code in place, we send it back to design for balancing.
Hey, one more time. How's it going?
Back again.
Yes.
Bullfrog, of course, has a very specific role, which is the anti-air unit. So it's, sort of a hard counter to air units, a soft counter to anti-ground air units, and we just balance it appropriately and make sure that the cost is, just in that right spot so that they're still useful and they do enough damage, but yet they're still vulnerable. It's, it's all very complicated. Chicken bones, tea leaves. There's just this whole process that we go through. It mostly involves voodoo.
All right, so there you go. That's what it takes to create a unit from start to finish. In Red Alert 3, we've got 70 of these units that have gone through a very similar process. This one happens to be my favorite, and I know it's the favorite of a lot of people on team. I hope that when you guys finally get your hands on it, you'll find the appeal and the charm of it as well.
So that's where units come from. I was always told they were brought in by storks. Well, joining us now by way of stork is Aaron APOC Kaufman, freshly delivered to his corner to bring you all the news by the fans, for the fans.
Hey, what's up all you Command & Conquerors? KANE'S Wrath has been out for a month now, and we're already seeing some fierce competition on our ranked 1v1 ladders. Practice time is over, Commander! Our second ladder season is set to begin on May 1st, and this time it's exclusively for KANE'S Wrath. Not only will the grand prize winner receive $6,000 cash, but the final four are going to have a very interesting twist. Details next time, but for now, you can hit up our ladder tournament section at commandandconquer.com for all the details on Ladder Season 2. So due to overwhelming popularity, we're going to be continuing our Tacitus Thursdays at commandandconquer.com, but this time, it's going to be for KANE'S Wrath for Xbox 360. If PC fans got their Tacitus dose, now let's show those 360 fans a little love. For all the exclusive info on the next great Xbox 360 RTS, be sure to hit up our official site every Tacitus Thursday until we launch later this summer. The CNC community has been around historically since 1995, since the freaking internet started to boom. Over the last 12 years, we've seen countless fan sites which have helped to ignite and grow this glorious community. Be sure to check out these latest diehard Red Alert 3 fan sites which have recently joined the family. TheThirdInvasion.com, RedAlert-3.com, and Red-Alert3.com. Looks like those last two brokered a deal on their links. Okay, now let's take a look at some of the latest CNC mods featured by our friends at moddb.com. First up, Rise of the Reds for CNC Generals 0 Hour will add the Russian Federation and the European Continental Army, plus a completely new general system. Next, Tactics, otherwise known as the Awakened Kingdom. It's a total conversion mod for Yuri's Revenge, which aims to bring the classic look of Mario Brothers into a cel-shaded battlefield. Have you ever been so excited to play as the Mushroom Kingdom or Koopa Troopa forces? Freaking awesome! Check them out at tac.sites.net. And finally, Sigma Invasion is an upcoming mod for CNC3 Tiberium Wars, which will take you to a parallel dimension dominated by apes, where technology far surpasses our current levels. You'll get to play as the foxes, the tigers, the panthers, and the wolves. But what about the lions, tigers, and bears? Oh my! I don't know. And if you think I'm talking about animals, then you probably haven't seen their awesome vehicle models. So get more Sigma Invasion at sigma.cncreneclipse.com. If you have any mods or fan sites you'd like featured in my corner, please drop me a line at APOC@EA.com. I'm open to all other fan mail as well, so no worries, my friends. Well, that's all from my corner for now. Don't forget to check out our Red Alert 3 Q&A on our official message boards, where you can ask all your Red Alert 3 questions and pray it catches our eyes. Remember, every day is Community Day. Back to you, Dave and Raj.
I can't believe he has a MySpace fan page. I should have a MySpace fan page. What are you smiling about?
Oh, nothing. I was just thinking about my MySpace fan page.
You don't.
Oh, but I do.
Everybody's got a freaking MySpace fan page. I bet Amir even has a MySpace fan page. Does he? Let's find out the answer to this question and some of your questions in Ask a Developer.
Hey, by the way, APOC's vote is for Raj all the way, baby!
Thanks, Raj. I'm Amir Rao, a level designer on Red Alert 3, and I, too, don't have a fan page. But that's okay, because I'm about to answer your questions here on Ask a Developer. Okay, our first question here comes from Sea Dust. Will there be walls in RA3? Well, so I know this has been a huge topic on the boards, and the answer is yes. There will be walls in RA3. In fact, placing walls is a lot easier now with a grid-based build system. And you're going to want them all the way around your con yard when Soviet engineers come flying into your base from the back of a man cannon. Alright then, our next question here comes from Noodle Socks. Noodle Socks writes in, co-op campaign is a good way forward, and I know you can pick AI allies to help, but will it be possible to play the campaign without an ally? The entire campaign has been designed with 2 commanders in mind. That means you will have to play with either an AI or a human co-commander. The challenges have also been scaled to meet this. Lucky for you, there's cooperative unit design. That means that you'll be able to pull off some really neat tactics with an AI or a human co-commander that you couldn't have done alone. Okay, moving along here, our next question comes from Scooty Puff Jr., who asks, will the Terror Drone be coming back? I love that unit from RA2. Well, Scooty Puff Jr., I love that unit too, and yes, the Terror Drone will be making a comeback. So the Terror Drone can be used like a vehicular scout, like it always was, or you can jump it into enemy vehicles. It also has a really great secondary ability that I'm not allowed to tell you about. But I can tell you that it can run around on water. That's right, Terror Drones on water, that you can jump into ships or jump into your enemy resource gatherers at an aqueous expansion. Alright, our next question comes from Legendary, who says, you guys mentioned that ore harvesting can take place in water now. What will resource management be like for the entire game then? Well, what we've done with putting resources on water is really add a bunch of decision making to expansion. You can either decide to expand out at sea or expand out in land. You're going to have to decide which one you can protect and which one you can harass. Alright, our final question comes from Mrs. CT, who asks, what was the reasoning behind choosing 3 female commandos for RA3? Is EA finally bowing down to girl power? So, I don't know about EA, but I always bow down to girl power. I'm Amir Rao for Ask a Developer. Keep those great questions coming. Back to you guys.
As a level designer, Amir is one of many developers here at EA. Developer is a blanket title referring to everyone that makes a game. So what exactly does a developer do? Today we'll be profiling one of the developers on Red Alert 3. It's time to take you into the wilds and observe the undomesticated lifestyle of a game maker in Meet a Developer. And be sure to stay quiet. We don't want to scare him off.
Hi, my name is Adam McCarthy. I was the animation lead on Command & Conquer 3, and I'm currently working on Red Alert 3. So I'm responsible for pretty much all the animation that goes into the game. So I work closely with the designers and the producers and the art director to identify all the animations that are going to be needed in the game to make the gameplay fun and work visually well with the rest of the game. What I usually do is I'll do what I call the basic set of animations for each unit. And for me, a basic set is a selected idle, a deselected idle, transitions in and out of those, move, death, and attack. That's the absolute basic list. For example, on the Soviet side of Red Alert 3, we have the Sickle, which is like a robotic spider. And he was one of my favorite ones to work on so far for Red Alert 3, because he has a lot of personality. He's kind of like, we kind of treated it like, sort of like one of these custom cars you see nowadays that have like a lot of hydraulics in them, like when you see them bouncing their cars up and down and stuff like that, like the lowriders. So we tried to think of the Sickle as like a lowrider, so he sort of moves jerky, like he's got kind of low-tech hydraulics involved in moving him around. So that was one of the ways that me as an animator could put my input. I took a look at the model and said, hey, this thing looks like it probably has rusty old hydraulics on it. Let's make it move like that. The most limiting factor for animators, it would be gameplay. There's definitely technical limitations by the game engine, but as animators, we always like to make the characters very alive, and it's really hard to make a character seem really alive when it needs to be able to respond really quickly to the game player. So we may do this really long, drawn-out, fun, cool animation, and then the engineers come back to us and go, that has to happen in half a second. It can't take 5 seconds for him to do it, because it slows down the gameplay. In the end, that's the most important thing, of course, is the gameplay. Animation is basically, it's acting. It's knowing how to take your character and making the person who's looking at it believe that it is alive, that it's moving. So I get my skills by watching other animated films and animated games, watching just real life, just watching people move around is really important. As far as the technical side, what program you want to use doesn't really matter. It's the skill set that really matters. So if you get your hands on any 3D software and you learn how to animate in one piece of software, it won't take you long to learn it in another one. When things get tough, when things get really busy and I get a little bit stressed out, I just have to sit back and remind myself how lucky I am to have this kind of a career, because it's just so much fun. It's a lot of hard work. There's a lot to be done, and there's high stress. There's times where we're just exhausted, but we have to keep going to finish the game. If you want to get into this kind of thing, be prepared to work hard, but you'll have a lot of fun doing it.
Those developers sure do run fast when spooked. And don't even get me started on cornering them.
Don't worry, we won't.
All right, Dave, that's enough. I've had about up to here with your snide remarks. You, sir, are in for a world of pain.
Save it for the ring, Joshi. I wouldn't want you to wear yourself out before you feel the power of the mighty Silverman backhand.
Mighty Silverman.
Coming up, the match you've been waiting for all month, or even maybe your entire life. The match to end all matches. I face off against Raj in our inaugural grudge match in the main event. You don't want to miss the upset Raj after he loses to me. We'll be back in just a moment with the main event on Command & Conquer TV.
Temple Prime lost. Kane dead. How can this be?
The great deceiver has been defeated!
Our enemies believe we have been defeated, and that I am no longer among the living. They are gravely mistaken.
Tonight, on the main event, we'll finally settle the most important question of all time. Who will sit at Kane's right hand? Will it be David, eye of the domesticated house cat Silverman? Or will it be the glorious and mighty Raj the battlefield behemoth Joshi? Find out tonight when these two Battlecast Primetime hosts duel for the entertainment of all and for the honor of Kane. This is the main event. Last month we showed you the conclusion to Kane's challenge, and what a conclusion it was. Sean Relativity Teeter pulled off a spectacular win against Dackle, using an onslaught of infantry to level everything in its path. But if you thought that match was the greatest battle since the real 300, you, my friends, are mistaken. For tonight, history will be written as I take on David for the glory of the Brotherhood, and I will not be defeated.
Yeah, I think your opening is slightly biased, Mr. Raj, the Battlefield Behemoth Joshi. Really? I mean, whatever. You can call yourself whatever you want. The fact remains, I will soon be calling you my peon when I show you how real Commander performs. Just you wait, Joshi. The time for your reckoning has come.
Haha, big talk, but I don't think you've got what it takes.
We'll find out soon enough. And remember, after tonight's epic face-off, you at home will get to pick who will meet up in the main event. You can challenge anyone to a match or even suggest matches for other players. Everyone is fair game. Forum posters, ladder leaders, Command & Conquer devs, or even us on CNC TV.
The forum is up and ready for you to issue your challenges. Tell the community who you want to see square off and why. If you feel strongly about a matchup, record a challenge and upload it to YouTube, just like I did. Then post the link on the CNC TV forums. Hey, and even if you don't have a challenge to issue, rally around those posted by others and let your voice be heard.
Will one of these posts be featured next month? Or will a new challenge be issued before then? Keep checking the forums and be sure to post your opinions. We pick the competitors the first week of every month. But back to the matter at hand. Raj, are you ready to be beaten back into the Stone Age?
Oh, I'm ready. Ready to show off my mad skills and make you cry like a baby.
Right. Well, let's wait no longer. It's time to take a look at our players in Through the Eyes. Can we really call Raj a player? Raj Joshi was born and raised in San Jose, California, despite his name being Rajiv Joshi. He first started working for EA Los Angeles back in 2002, abandoning his dream of one day becoming a celebrity dog walker. When not producing, he's scaring small children or staring aimlessly at walls, and also plays in a local garage band. His band is appropriately called Letdown, but over the years, his fans has given him the nickname Earplugs. Raj first started playing CNC last week, and he hopes that the $500 he recently spent on good luck charms will give him the extra boost he needs today. His advice to new Command & Conquer players? Build foundries.
David Silverman was born in 1980 in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Since the age of 2, David has been playing video games, yet his skills haven't improved. Over the years, David has become a sort of gaming encyclopedia, something I'm sure makes him quite big with the ladies. David enjoys dressing up in a clown costume, making balloon animals on the 3rd Street Promenade for quarters and pina coladas, but strangely not getting caught in the rain. David's career at EA began in 2003 and will end tonight when I utterly humiliate him on Battlecast Primetime, his own creation.
Why you
No, David. Let's save it for the battlefield, yes? Let's be civil and introduce our friends Greg Black and Jason Bender.
Fine. Greg, Jason.
Thanks for the great intro, David.
Yeah, you might want to be a little nicer to us.
Hey guys, welcome back to the main event. It was so nice to have you join us again. I hope you're both doing swimmingly.
All right, Dave, that's better.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this match.
Yeah, me too.
You know, Greg, I picked the map we're playing on in my official challenge, Black's Big Battle. Say, isn't that your last name, Black? Who knew? Hey, tell us a little about CNC3's best map in your Battleground Reconnaissance.
Black's Big Battle is the greatest RTS map ever created. Players start on a green field with 360-degree vulnerability. On one side are 8 tip spikes, and on the other is a sparse but expansive green field. It won't take long for your harvesters to clear out some Tiberium in the middle of this field for base building. Behind each player is a ravine with 3 mutant hovels and 2 bridges, which give access to a highly protected green field. It's great for last stands or protecting tech structures. Midfield are dozens of garrisonable buildings separated by a dried-up canal. There are 4 capturable turrets along the canal, and at either end is a small, semi-protected green field. The map is symmetrical, so each player has 5 possible expansions: spikes, sparse fields, behind the ravine, or either corner. But that means that the enemy can attack from 5 different routes. To do well on this map, you'll need a flexible plan of attack, and scouting is critical to help you adapt on the fly.
Thanks, Greg. That was wonderful.
Yeah, I get the point, Dave. I think you can reel it in a little bit.
I don't think he likes you.
Well, we'll see about that. It's time for Greg and Jason to lay their cards on the table and declare who they think will win in our pick of the match.
You know, Dave, I'm going to have to go with Raj. You know, you're always reading the show opener, you got your name all over everything, you're talking louder than Joshi, you never let him do an interview. I want to see Raj come out on top.
Yeah, what's up with that? You're always reading my name second, putting us all in a corner. Joshi on top.
Joshi.
Raj, I'm not really sure why I'm even asking this, but who's your pick tonight? And keep in mind, you have been wrong every single time.
You hear that, Mr. Silverman? That's the sound of destiny. That's the sound of your doom. Goodbye, Mr. David. I'm Raj Joshi!
Well, I'm obviously rooting for Battlecast Primetime's favorite anchor, David Silverman. He's got quite a record, and well, he's quite dashing, if I do say so myself. How could he lose? Gentlemen, that time has come. Let the games begin.
Tonight's match is between Battlecast Primetime anchors, product manager David Silverman and producer Raj Joshi on Black's Big Battle, the best map ever made. I have it on good authority.
That's right. All right, so starting out, we're down here in the south with Dave playing Black Hand. He's a nod. He's going straight for that early barracks and then packing up his Kanyard.
See, I guess he fancies himself a serious player. I mean, he's doing something that only like pros do.
Pros spamming engineers into tip spikes, which, you know, may be a valid strategy on this map.
Well, I mean, he is a big fan of the money. He wants the bling. He's got those things going out there. Unprotected saboteurs, always a safe bet when you're playing against Nod.
Yeah, if Raj had, you know, a pair of huevos, he might have come in and actually attacked Dave, but it looks like he is also going to go for some tip spikes. And look at this, he's taking all 8 of those tip spikes using the booby trap ability. You know, it's going to cost him a little bit of money, but they are going to explode if Dave tries to retake those, so it should be interesting.
Yeah, don't go near those tip spikes, whatever you do.
You know, Dave doesn't like to get anywhere near so don't worry about it. And
he's leaving an unattended package in a suspicious place.
Mm-hmm, call Homeland Security.
Speaking of packages, let's go back to Dave's base and see what he's doing. All right, so we're down here in the bottom left-hand corner. Dave has decided to build tip silos.
Silos are always needed, apparently, even though he hasn't built anything else.
Pro tip, if you build units, you won't need the silos.
Yeah, that's true. The silos are there to let noobs know that they need to spend money. So, Dave, spend some money.
Well, he did. He bought himself an MCV.
Well, sure, why not? You can never have too many MCVs on Black's Big Battle, and in fact, it looks like he's got 3 that I can see.
He may have too many. Hey, look, units with guns.
Yes, Raj is conquering those empty, garrisonable buildings.
It's the mark of Kane. They're just marking their territory.
Oh, I see. Too bad that territory doesn't really have any resources or any real strategic value in a game where they're building all around the outside. But hey, and here we go. It looks like Raj is actually maybe building some units that are going to go attack Dave.
I gotta say, Raj has one tactic to his advantage that Dave doesn't have. Raj has dudes with guns.
This is true. I'm seeing a lot of commanding, not a lot of conquering going on in this game. Hopefully we can, you know, get that ratio a little bit more in sync.
I don't know, but he's got 1 million power plants. They're all upgraded. Silos. I mean, he's pretty much enjoying the single-player campaign at this point. I guess Dave's figured out that he really needs to tech up in order to build, what is he building?
More refineries.
You don't need to tech up to build refineries, buddy.
Turns out. So that was his second base. Down here at his third base, it looks like he's built another Hand of Nod. He's deploying those saboteurs to go capture those tip spikes and Raj booby trap. See what happens.
What could go wrong?
Oh, the booby trap's going off. One right after another. Is Dave even watching this happen? Does he even realize what's going on?
You know what booby traps are made for?
Trapping.
Bingo.
Nice. And Raj had booby trapped those earlier, and I don't know, is this a good idea? Did Raj not just kill his entire economy?
Well, it's expensive for Dave, but he should have noticed the unattended packages sitting at the bottom of those tip spikes. On the other hand, Raj was depending on these. Dave has one thing going on with a strong economy. It's a strong economy building nothing but saboteurs, but Raj is screwed because those tip spikes were all he had, except for a whole bunch of APCs with dudes with guns. Let's see.
Raj. So here's the problem, folks. You don't roll into somebody's base and deploy all your one-shot units. Oh, and Raj, you gotta scout before you deploy those things. You can't undeploy them, and they're just stuck there now around that one single power plant.
That power plant is shaking in its boots.
Yeah, scouting, very important, Raj.
Well, the guys are jumping out. Looks like they're gonna attack. Let's just assume that power plant gets blown up.
If Raj can't take out that power plant, he's got bigger problems.
I think he can. But it doesn't matter because there's a refinery and another Kanyard, and like, you know, Silvermanville now has spawned Silvermanburg.
Yes, and look at this, Dave, setting up a base behind Raj's main base, setting up for the penetration through the back door. Classic Silverman strategy. Raj better watch out. And look at this, you know, Dave still playing that single player game. We've got some, oh, wait.
Look at that base, it's perfect. All those barracks are lined up. They're almost as pretty as David himself.
Oh, and speaking of pretty, look at this purple flame just annihilating Raj's garrison. Raj, you know, there is a de-garrison button on those buildings. You could get your guys out of there.
Raj is playing Mark of Kane, which means he should be building some anti-vehicle infantry, some dudes with heavy weapons to take out those walkers, but instead, they're all just going to sit there and get burned up by purple flame. That's fine. I wouldn't worry about it. Well, where we are right now is Dave has decided that attacking is kind of exhausting, so he's going to go back to building stuff. But now that he's teched up, he's realized he can build Temple of Nod. So he does that, and he puts a decoy one down for good measure, which should be confusing to Raj, who doesn't have any scouts.
And look at this, maybe Raj is getting ready to scout as his epic unit gets the disruption pod and goes stealth.
He's going solo. One-man army, you can do it!
Oh, and Raj has got to be crapping his pantaloons right now. Look at how many units Dave has back there doing nothing.
I think they spotted him. Look at this, it's like David and Raj themselves are fighting on a bridge, mano a mano, giant robot form.
This is some epic unit, epic battling, and look at that, the rage generator power fires off. Dave's entire army starts wiping themselves out.
Oh,
and
man.
Both epic units fall through the bridge, destroying them both completely.
That like a Noob Apocalypse.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was like the biggest sissy slap fight in history, and just explosions everywhere. Nobody really knows what's going on.
I think he's actually microing them right now.
No. This is the unit level AI. It micros far better than Dave ever did.
Good point. I want to sum up what just happened there. So Raj comes in with one epic unit, and he's fighting an epic unit and about $1 gazillion worth of other stuff. And they come out even. Yeah. Everything's dead.
I'm telling you, Raj Joshi's gonna win this bad boy.
Well, if he keeps playing with a 1,000-to-1 kill ratio, it's not gonna be a problem.
Yeah, it's an important tactic. You drag select, you click A, and then you click into the enemy's base, and good things will happen.
It tends to be, and as we see, the drag select attack move. A classic strategy among noobs and pros alike.
Right, and it's working out well. Raj's base, towers down, stuff's exploding. Dave's got all sorts of crazy crap.
You know, I really didn't think he had it in him.
No, this is a surprisingly good show of force for Dave Silverman. I think something's going on here. Poor Raj Joshi down to a single MCV just running away into the middle of that field. What's he going to do? He's got nukes.
He's going to get nuked. He's going to get hit by a catalyst missile. He's going to get attacked by bikes with Tiberium missiles, and then he's going to get hit with a Tiberium vapor bomb.
I mean, at this point, you know, why not? They ought to just nuke him again. Oh, and actually, look at this. Dave Silverman destroying his own units with that vapor bomb. That's gotta hurt. And why isn't Raj out of this game yet? What's keeping him in here?
I think it's just that Dave hasn't found him yet.
Here we are. Raj has the mutant Mujahideen back in the valley here, just waiting to fight that last epic battle.
It's gonna be a valiant last stand in the valley.
And again, Raj showing his skill as a commander. His units are simply sitting there waiting to die, and death will come swiftly at the hands of attack Noob.
It's very sad. It looks like, you know, Dave has an overwhelming force now because he has like 5,000 MCVs and, you know, 1 million refineries. He's got nothing but money, so he's gonna throw it at him.
Here comes the commando, takes out that last mutant hovel. Everybody has a heart attack and dies. That's game for Dave Silverman. Wow, I didn't really think he had it in him.
I think those mutants died of surprise.
Yeah, quite possibly. You know, I would have told my guys to attack that commando, but it's just me. I think Raj should probably stick to building foundries.
I am the champion. I am the champion. No time for Raj, 'cause I'm Kane's right-hand man. Ha ha!
Yeah.
And just to rub it in a little bit more, because I can, Raj, why don't you introduce the next segment?
Greg and Jason, who gets a coveted play of the match?
So throughout the course of this game, we saw Raj Joshi booby-trap the tip spikes, attack first, build up an epic unit redeemer, use the rage generator to wipe out an entire army of like 80,000 credits.
But despite all of this, the play of the game has got to go to Dave Silverman. I mean, he had more money than God, he built a ton of stuff, he hit Q, selected them all, clicked A, and just marched into the back door of Raj's base, wiping everything out. Truly, the attack move, hallmark of a great strategic thinker.
Sorry for doubting you, man.
Yeah, nice work.
Thank you. And of course, thanks to you two, Greg Black and Jason Bender, for being on the show. Great guys, those two, huh?
Wait a second. You cheated. He cheated.
Well, that's all the time we have for today on Battlecast Primetime and the main event. Be sure to send your comments to bcpt@ea.com. And don't forget to Battlecast your next match for a shot to be featured here on Battlecast Primetime. For Raj, get over it, Joshi, I'm David Silverman, and we'll see you on the battlefield.